Now that Matt Rule's got the bowl drought out of the way, can Nebraska work on its first regular season winning record since 2016 as well after 6-6 this fall? Let's look at the schedule for 2025 released by the Big Ten this week and see if things will be lighter on the Huskers and trying to reach that next milestone in 2025. Welcome into the Voice of College Football. Appreciate you being here. Most of the schedule previews are on the main channel, but welcome, of course, to the Nebraska channel. Join Justin Adams every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for live Huskers talk. It all starts in Lincoln on August 30th against the Bearcats, Scott Satterfield Cincinnati team, in which Nebraska won this game 41-0, not in 1995 or one of the great Nebraska teams, but in 1906. Bearcats coming off a 5-7 season in the Big 12. Keep in mind, Nebraska not faring well against Power 5 non-conference opponents since 2010 at 7 wins and 15 losses. The Huskers have a date against Akron, the mighty Zips, a 4-8 team, actually one of their better seasons in recent years. Nebraska and Akron got together in 1997, and the Huskers won as expected by 45 points, 59-14. Next up is Houston Christian, a 5-7 FCS team in 2024. Their one game against a power opponent was against SMU, and it didn't go well for Houston Christian, losing 59-7. Then it's on to the Big Ten. Michigan's up on September 20th in Lincoln. It's not gone well for Nebraska in recent meetings, including 45-7 in 2023. Also, last facing Michigan State in 2023, losing to Sparty on the road 23-20 in overtime. That game after a bye week on October 4th. Then Nebraska goes on the road for the first time all season after 5 straight home games. They better bulk up on the wins early. They go on the road back-to-back weeks against Maryland, and the Huskers have won 2 of 3 since the Terps joined the Big Ten in 2014. And then at Minnesota, the Gophers have been a thorn in the side of GBR here in recent years, winning 5 consecutive games dating back to 2019. Northwestern's the opponent on October 25th. Nebraska has defeated Northwestern in 7 of 13 meetings since joining the conference in 2011. Nebraska took USC down to the final play of the game at the Coliseum this past season. They lost at 28-20. They're 0-5 all-time against USC, including a 2014 Holiday Bowl loss against the Trojans. They've got them at home, though, this time in November, followed by a trip to UCLA. Going out to the Rose Bowl, they lost to the Bruins this past fall, 27-20. Bye week before a difficult 2-game stretch to conclude 2025. Going to Penn State, of course. Penn State's been one of the better teams in the Big Ten for quite some time. But since 2011, when the Huskers joined the conference, they have defeated Penn State 4 of 5 times. And then it's the big nemesis on Black Friday, the guys that wear the black. And Nebraska's got them at home this year after another Hawkeye walk-off field goal, the 5th in 10 meetings, as Nebraska's lost to Iowa 9 of 10 times. In attempts to gauge the difficulty of the schedule for all these Big Ten teams transitioning from 2024 to 2025, we are putting in categories the teams that particular team, Nebraska in this case, play both in 2024 and 25, but then looking at all the other opponents that change from 24 to 25 to see if the schedule is more difficult or less so. Nebraska plays Iowa, USC, and UCLA in both 2024 and 2025. The games that are different in 2024, the other opponents for the Huskers, Ohio State, Indiana, Illinois, Rutgers, Wisconsin, and Purdue. Now, Purdue at the low end, 0-9 in the conference, really weight down this record at 29-25. The Buckeyes, of course, probably the best team, even though Indiana had the best record. It would not be likely that the Hoosiers would repeat an 8-1 season this year. Now replace those 6 teams with Penn State, Michigan, Minnesota, Michigan State, Northwestern, and Maryland. Those 6 schools went 24-30 in the Big Ten this past season. Indiana's got to be a big wild card at 8-1. It's going to be difficult for the Hoosiers to duplicate that record. you would think that this 2025 collection of 6 teams would perform something close to what they did this past season, although Maryland typically is about a 500 team in the Big Ten. They went 1-8 in the conference. And of course, Penn State on the other end going to the championship game at 8-1. Michigan should be better than 5-4 this past fall. Despite Colorado's strong season in 2024, of course, the Huskers were able to dispose of Deion's bunch rather easily, 28-10 in Lincoln. They've got a matchup against Cincinnati that they should be a substantial favorite in again to go to 3-0 non-conference. We matched up the conference opponent difference from 2024 to 25. Record-wise, it's a bit of a downgrade, but probably about the same. Nebraska's schedule difficulty looks about the same, transitioning from 2024 to 2025. Looking for some more one-win, one-score outcomes to go their way, of course, under Matt Rule. Your thoughts, your comments, we welcome right here at the Voice of College Football. And don't forget to catch Justin every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at the Voice of College Football, GBR.